Greetings. Today is a special day. The program directors and faculty at the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences MLA program have graciously provided me with an opportunity to welcome new students to our program. To those of you attending on site here in Gilman Hall, and those of you participating online from around the globe, I join with my fellow students, alumni, and faculty in congratulating you on matriculating into the oldest and most successful Master of Liberal Arts program in the country. We asked our new students why they decided to join the program, and we received 57 completed surveys. Here are the results. 14 of you need a graduate degree to advance in public education. 11 of you are taking advantage of the significant tuition discount offered to employees of Johns Hopkins University. 15 of you classified yourself as lifelong learners who are simply taking one more step in a continuing quest to attain knowledge. 6 of you believe that our program adds a necessary credential for a career change. And the rest of you told us you weren't really sure why you're doing this, you're just doing this. We have an audience question. The gentleman in the third row on the left. Thank you. For those of you watching online, your fellow student is asking me why I decided to enroll. I fell into the last category. I did not have a specific reason. More than anything, I was simply looking for a unique distraction from my everyday routine. I had no preconceived notions or expectations. I just applied, got accepted, and decided to take this one course at a time and see how things played out. Johns Hopkins represents the MLA program as one that thrives on the curiosity, passion, and diversity of its students. The reputation is factually accurate. It's not just the student body that's diverse. The faculty is diverse, and the course selection is incredibly diverse, cutting across history, literature, philosophy, political science, music, and art. Why is this important? Because diversity is a path to nuanced thought. Diversity creates an environment that provides a lens into new ways of evaluating old problems. Here, in these classes, we offer our opinions, our analysis, and our work product to each other. We exchange our ideas built on the foundation of our own life experience with students whose ideas in many cases originate from an entirely different background. By questioning, challenging, and learning from each other, we evidence a form of Socratic inquiry developed over 2,400 years ago. Let's face it, we live in a polarized society. We have entered a point in history when it sometimes seems the path of least resistance is to retreat to our safe spaces. It's a way of protecting ourselves from the opinions of others which we may find to be disagreeable or invalid. The liberal arts community has not been immune to this form of discord. Consider the case of Camille Paglia. Dr. Paglia is a tenured professor at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia. Paglia has been recognized as a feminist activist since the late 1960s. After 7 failed attempts, in 1990, she was able to persuade Yale University Press to publish her first book, Sexual Persona, Art and Decadence, From Nefertiti to Emily Dickinson. The book became a bestseller. Paglia often expressed unorthodox views which were not well received by other well-known feminists and members of the academic community. Take, for example, Gloria Steinem. Ms. Steinem also came to national prominence in the late 1960s. She is a writer, political activist, feminist organizer, and the founder of New York and Ms. magazines, and she did not like Camille Paglia one bit. Shortly after publication of Paglia's book, Steinem said, calling herself, that is Paglia, a feminist, is sort of like a Nazi saying that they are not anti-Semitic. Decades later, Steinem and Paglia are still at it. In 2017, Paglia referred to Steinem as a mummified fascist. The root of the vitriol is related to Paglia's refusal to adopt politically correct views on feminism compared to Steinem's rejection of the idea that feminists can still maintain traditional roles in our culture. Feuds like this have spilled into the liberal arts space. Approximately 30 years ago, many of the elite liberal arts schools began providing incoming college freshmen with suggested reading lists. Connecticut College, a well-known liberal arts school founded in 1911, suggested that students read Paglia's best-selling book, Sexual Persona. The suggestion was consistent with the school's mantra, which today states that students learn to look beyond typical narratives and assumptions. But in 1992, shocked Connecticut College professors in women's studies, English history, and art and music tried to block the inclusion of Paglia's book. The professors called the work trash and compared it to Hitler's Mein Kampf. Paglia is still a lightning rod today. In May of this year, some students at the University of the Arts, where she teaches, wanted her fired for sharing wrong opinions on matters of sex, gender identity, and sexual assault. But some of the school's professors defended her, declaring that this was tantamount to undermining freedom of expression and free academic inquiry, going so far as to label efforts to remove her as political correctness run amok. You will probably encounter similar debates in your MLA classes. Almost all of our courses have a discussion group component, which requires you to interact with fellow students in vigorous dialogue. You will read and listen to opinions and write quite a few of your own. Because we are such a diverse group, some of what you read might upset you. Some of what you write might upset others. There might be temptation to retreat to a safe space, which can be easy to do in an online course. I challenge you to resist the temptation. I challenge you instead to figure out how to engage in a way that encourages your classmates to participate in the dialogue. With each new topic of discussion, you have three choices. You can accept the argument of one side, you can accept the argument of the other side, or you can create new arguments that encourage those around you to rethink their positions in a manner that creates consensus. How will you decide what to do? How many of you are familiar with the term hermeneutics? Please raise your hand. Anybody? Okay, I do see one person in the back of the room frantically waving her hand. She does happen to be a faculty member who has a PhD in philosophy. Hermeneutics simply means interpretation, the goal of which is to make sense of a text or situation, i.e., to understand what the text or situation means. This program will improve the critical thinking skills necessary to craft more nuanced interpretations, which in turn will enable more persuasive argument. Aristotle taught us that leaders should be educated liberally rather than practically or technically. In fact, there came a time that the cultural elite took for granted the necessity of educating future leaders in the liberal arts. That's what happens in this program. We, through these courses, acquire better critical thinking skills. We become more efficient writers, and we become better communicators. In sum, through the liberal arts, we are accumulating the educated needed to become leaders. Welcome again to the program. I hope you have a great holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you in some classes in the future. Thank you.